we have a promo link over at 50cards.shop. Enter the promo code @night to get 5% off your order. Hi, and welcome to the deck profile that you are about to be shown. This was recorded on a concurrent episode of Nexus at Night that I then took out and put in its own video just for your own convenience. As a result, some of it is going to be sloppy, some of it is going to be skipping over cards, but as always, I will have the deck log code in the description for you to go look at. The important thing is that for both my list and for Root Beer's list, whichever one you're watching at this particular time, it did fairly well at Springfest San Gabriel with my list going X1 and Root Beer's going X3. Our team ended up going X2, but if you want to learn more about that, you can watch the full podcast episode in the link below. Thanks. Welcome to Miss Katie's class's Halloween party, which is... my fiance's name is Katie. I name all of my deck lists that I do for tournaments after her and her class because she's a kindergarten teacher. So here's to you, Katie. So this deck list isn't... Again, this is pretty straightforward for an NLK Barrow list. 4 NLK, 3 Barrow, 2 Hope on Damp. Awesome. 4 Covetous Succubus, which really ties the whole deck together. I hate that this doesn't use the art that they use for the promo. This is the old art.
This is incredibly annoying.
Yeah. Well, because people would look at it from a distance and be like, he runs that? And then they look closer and they're like, oh yeah.
Oh,
fuck.
Yeah, the new one.
Yeah, the new one. So the effect is when it attacks, if you have 6 or more cards in your soul, put a rear guard into soul, countercharge, and then if you have 10 or more in soul, draw 2, choose a card from your hand, put it into soul. So DIs have a really small amount of cards going in the early stages of the game, and can soul charge a lot, so this helps stabilize you. It can also let you put your Enigmatic Assassin back in soul after using it, so that it's not vulnerable the next turn. There were a lot of games where I would randomly pull it out twice just to use it for draws, and less for the actual boosting. I also ran 4 copies of Emblem Master because I couldn't afford Poisonic Abductor, and this ended up coming in handy a bunch, so I'm not even blaming myself for it.
How much is Poisonic?
It's like $18.
Why?
I don't know.
What?
Yeah. So Emblem Master, on play on Vanna Rear, search your deck or drop for 3 cards with the same thing as one of your units. So you can pick himself. Mostly it involves, during your turn 1, putting something on board that you know you want to clone, and then riding this turn 2 and doing its thing or calling it. And then after that, it's a 14k beater with a 10k shield. So it's good pretty much any time in the game. I'm a big fan of this. I think there's a promo that we get in like 6 months that, eschews this, but this is what we got in the meantime. 4 copies of Fu Dinlin, which is so frickin' broken.
My favorite card.
Yeah. So on Vanna Rear, you can put a card from your hand into soul, draw your card, and draw a card, and the opponent does the same thing. It's really fun early because it allows you to put extra 3s, like, oh, I got this Hope on Damp I don't want in hand. Put it into soul, draw again, and then it also like messes up the opponent's hand early game. It's very nice. And then at the beginning of your battle phase, if your opponent has 6 or more cards in soul charge, he gets 5k. That doesn't come up very often, but it's nice to try and get you to that magic 20 for Hope on Damp. 4 copies of Variance Killer Tail. This saved my butt against the Angel Gize player. I will get to that in a bit. Where I just got... Because, he gave me 1 damage, and I used that damage 6 times. Thanks to this.
That's what DI does.
Yeah. So, you rest it, put something from drop or damage into your soul, and then if it was from your damage zone, and you have 3 of her in soul, you stand her and countercharge. Sorry, if you do it from damage, top card of deck into damage zone. Whatever. Point is that it allows you to countercharge and lets you reuse things like your Dimension Creeper, which continues to be important all these years later. My starter is Enigmatic Assassin because I want to guarantee that it's in soul. I would rather have that than the extra card in the early game. Yeah, triggers were pretty straightforward. So Peel Guardians, I had Stride crits just because they were crits. Three Sentinel crit, and then the Sanctitude, because you just kind of don't really have a lot of cards in hand most games, and I would rather just have the 30k Sentinel crit than an actual PG. Because, like, when you're being this aggressive, and again, this is a deck that I'm not used to playing, I'm not used to being this aggressive. When you're being this aggressive, letting your opponent put you to 5 while you're at 2 is okay, because then you're just going to kill them turn 3 anyway. So, yeah, Sentinel crit is good. Forest Air Shirley for that soul charge. The Dark States one, and then the G Zone. I did not go into this aside from Forfax and G Guards once, except for Balam, which I went into against the Angel Gize player.
You used Forfax a few times?
Wouldn't I, you're asking? Or
no, didn't you use Forfax like at least a couple games?
Yeah, in a couple games. I'm saying that was the only one I did, except for G Guards and against the Angel Gize player.
Yeah, this fucker.
Yeah.
This somehow became relevant.
Never dusting, understandable.
Yeah, never had to dust. I went into Formy though because Vanquisher player I was against. It was my only loss of the day. He had a full board. I didn't know what to do. This was my panic button. I blew up his board. I was just like, I hope I live. I didn't live. I died the next turn.
I feel like if were you in a position where you could just go for broke with NLK into Forfax?
No.
Okay.
I didn't have enough cards in Soul at the time. He was so far ahead of me just from the get-go. I didn't win the die roll once, by the way. Also, went second every game of the day. Yeah.
Neither did I. Either day.
So, yeah, that's pretty much the deck profile. What's it called? Blader Mouse is there to refill your deck, and the rest of the deck makes sense, but it's just like, it's a very simple strategy. You ride up to turn 3 into No Life King, who then goes into either Baromagnes, or if you have the setup for it, No Life King, into No Life King, into Baromagnes, into Forfax, they're dead. That's it.
And that worked for 5 games out of 6.
Yep, and I'm very proud of Miss Katie's class because they will take no prisoners.